Hi, boys and girls. This is Ms. Rodriguez. Today for closed reading, you're going to determine the main idea of the informational text. Our objective for today is students will determine the main idea of a text using explicit details from the text. So the very first thing I want you to do is to listen to the story, Treasures in a Pine Cone by Jan Black.
Jan Black has written for Highlights. In this informational text, Black explores what causes pine cones to open and close. As you read, take notes on how pine cones benefit the forest. One warm day when I was walking in my backyard, I saw a pine cone on the ground. I picked it up, and some seeds fell out of it. Those seeds would be a tasty treat for a squirrel, I thought. Would a squirrel find the seeds in time for dinner? I realized that pine cones were not always open like this one. Sometimes cones were tightly closed. I decided to find out why. I read about pine cones in books and on the internet. I interviewed a pine cone expert. I gathered pine cones from my backyard and kept them outside on my deck. I watched them for over a year. Here's what I learned. Pine cones open and close slowly as the weather changes. When it's cold or wet, cones are tightly closed. This protects the seeds inside from rain and snow. When the weather becomes warm and dry, pine cones open. In a forest of pine trees on a hot day, you might even hear the crackling sound of cones popping open. The seeds inside may then fall to the ground. The wind may blow the seeds to places where they can grow into new pine trees. A seed has a better chance of taking root and growing when the weather is warm. Seeds are food, too. Pine seeds are an important source of food for many animals, says Monty Maldonado. He is a pine cone expert with the United States Forest Service. He says squirrels depend on pine cone seeds for most of their meals. They spend lots of time gathering and storing the cones. Maldonado says some animals eat only the seeds from a pine cone. But red squirrels and gray squirrels will eat the whole thing. Small animals aren't the only creatures who eat pine seeds. Maldonado says big grizzly bears and people eat them, too. You may have eaten the seeds of the pinyon pine, which grows in the western United States. These seeds are also known as pinyon nuts, or pine nuts. They are used in salads, puddings, cakes, candy, cookies, and pesto sauce. Seeds inside a pine cone are important for the growth of new trees and as food for animals. It is the pine cone's job to protect and release them. So take note of the pine cones you see on the ground. They hold treasures inside.
Okay, boys and girls, so now we're going to go over the anchor chart that I'm going to put in the Google form that you're going to fill out. Okay, remember the main idea is the most important idea about a topic. In this case, the topic is pine cones. The big idea, what the text is mostly about. Remember, the main idea is what the informational text is mostly about. And then it usually has 3 supporting details that have to do with the main idea. Okay, remember, supporting details are the small details that support the main idea. Like there's a table or a chair here, and the legs are supporting the top of the table. So you make sure that your main idea and your supporting detail have to do with one another. Okay, good luck answering the questions. This is review. We've done this before in class. Good luck.